What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Cleveland Pulse YouTube channel. I am your host, Justin Harold, and with me, as always, my co-host, Jeff Santa. Today, we are bringing you the preview for the Week 4 matchup for the Browns versus the Vikings at the Vikings. This is going to be a highly anticipated matchup since I think Week 1, I think this is going to be our true test against offense that I think is super high-powered and has a lot of potential to score a lot of points on our defense. But with that being said, Jeff, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. This really does feel like, weirdly enough, the start of the season. It sounds a little bit weird, but I think everybody was, high nerves, high tension for that Kansas City game. Not a whole lot of expectations, a lot of moving parts going into Week 1. And then you have these back-to-back matchups at First Energy Stadium where you're almost expecting Kevin Stefanski and company to pretty much just hold the game down, make sure that the tempo is good, and win those ball games. And now you got to go on the road at Minnesota. Man, this place is loud. Watching highlights from some of their home games, this place is very loud, but this has been known for a couple of years. They got some good home field advantage over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you were alluding to, start of the season, obviously, in the sense of competition, I think these next 4 games that we're going to be playing are against really top tier teams. The Vikings, they may have lost to the Bengals, but in an overtime game, which, things happen, but it is what it is. I think they bounce back, and Kirk Cousins has been playing well. And obviously their wide receivers, Kirk Cousins and Kirk Cousins again, Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson are, great, talented players. And then we'll get into it later, but we believe Dalvin Cook will be playing in this game. But then when you go on the road again next week to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, come back home, play the Cardinals, and then we come back again and play Denver, which these teams, I believe, the Cardinals and the Broncos are 3-0 right now, and The Chargers just beat Kansas City. So, like you were saying, I think this is going to be the real kind of nail biter part of the season where these 4 games are going to be up in the air in terms of like how we play. And, we need to play complete games in order to win them. So with that being said, let's get into it, Jeff. Obviously we have some injury reports to go on about. We'll start off with the big one. Obviously, Greg Newsome is week to week. He will not play this upcoming week against the Vikings with a calf injury. We don't know what the extent of that calf injury is. They didn't really get into it, just said that it's a calf injury and such. So he will be out, and Greedy Williams will be the cornerback too, alongside Denzel Ward and Troy Hill. Jeff, what are your thoughts on this before we get into any other injury report?
I'm nervous, and I don't want to get too far away from the topic because this is a Vikings preview, but you see it with Jarvis Landry. That was almost a immediate decision to go IR, which is a little bit interesting because you'd like to have him out there, but we know that our passing attack is not the premier part of this offense, so that's a little bit easier to swallow. Greg Newsome, while we have the depth at cornerback, that almost makes me want to put him on the IR too, if it's something that's going to be, that could linger. A lot of these injuries, especially these strains that we're seeing a lot of this year, are stuff
soft
that could
tissue injuries.
Yeah, soft tissue. You don't even really know when it happens. It's like he's playing and it happens, and then like the adrenaline from him playing, it's just like after the game type of thing. But this is a bad week not to have him. Very unfortunate. I wanted to see him face a true wide receiver too. Yeah. Primarily, you don't see him really cover anyone too big name in the Kansas City game because obviously Kelsey's their second option or even first option over there. Denzel's on Tyreek. Texans are pretty much, nobody wide receiver. Bears, that was just an anomaly game from our defense. So would have been nice to see him, probably be on Justin Jefferson this week or Adam Thielen. So that's disappointing. I think we're going to need him down the stretch. We're going to need him against the Chargers. So I'm looking across the horizon with this injury. Let's not rush him back, but let's get him back in there appropriately.
Yeah, and after the game, he seemed like he was in high spirits about all of it. So obviously it's going to be part of him listening to the medical staff and him listening to his body. So like you said, I think that, like we already mentioned, the next few games are going to be tough ones, and we're going to face a lot of high quality offensives. So
Mhm.
I'm okay with him missing this game because I want him to be healthy. But Jeff, correct me if I'm wrong, and I think I've seen this a lot on Twitter and such with a lot of Browns fans. A lot of people seem to think that, up to now, Greg has played, as our best cornerback and has played, really good ball. Obviously, you alluded to that he doesn't cover the number one guys, but being a rookie, that's still a phenomenal kind of praise that he's getting around the fan base and from his teammates.
100%, absolutely. And it's early, but I think we've struck gold with a couple of these rookies. Jeremiah Usu-Koromoa, not to, any spoiler alerts, but if you don't know, highest graded PFF linebacker in the league as a rookie. And Greg Newsome, I believe he's only given up 6 yards in coverage. So it doesn't even seem like his man is being targeted all that often. Like I said, it's going to be a tough not to have him out there, but I think we have people who, at least from last year, had a little bit of experience, and you had people, like Greedy Williams, who need to step up and show how much that he could be worth to this team, as even if it's a role player.
Yeah, absolutely. And just making a quick point on Greedy, I think this is going to be a great opportunity for him. I think when he came in 2 years ago, obviously defense was a lot different than it is now. And so I think, he misses a full season, ends up losing the cornerback 2 battle to the rookie. But I think he's done really well to just kind of keep his emotions in check. He plays really well on special teams. And then, when I saw, obviously he only got a few plays last week. He had a pass deflection. I thought he did well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing him step up. And obviously, Jeff and I have talked about it off the podcast that we have a plethora of DBs in that backfield that we shouldn't really be too worried with, losing one guy for a game. Obviously, he has played very well and Greg will be missed, but we would like for him to be healthy and for us to be as healthy as possible and not, push anything that we don't need to. So with that being said, we're going to move into the rest of this injury report. I'm going to go top or bottom to top, actually. So starting with Jedrick Wills, did not practice. JC Treader did not practice. Treader, a guy that, typically does not practice. Sione Takitaki coming back from an injury. He was limited. Greg Newsome, obviously, we talked about it. He did not practice. Chris Hubbard, triceps, was limited. Jack Conklin, limited. And Odell Beckham Jr.'s shoulder was limited. Jeff, what pops out to you here on this list?
Our offensive linemen just really don't practice. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I mean, I say this a lot. We don't follow other teams. We just don't have the time. I mean, we follow the team that we're playing. That's it. We just have so many not even random injuries. It's just like, I don't even know. Like, I know the offensive line gets banged up every week. Of course, they're integral to every single play, regardless if it's a sack or if it's a 40-yard run. So it really, you expect those guys to be banged up the most, but I'm okay with veterans, not practicing every single day. I just don't understand OBJ, that injury is very random to me. And it's just, I didn't even see that the first play of the game and he played through it. So I'm glad we have willing participants. I think that is just a bigger testament to this team, this organization, that people are going to want to play through injuries. Jedrick probably could have sat last week, but we don't really have a whole lot of options. It's good to get hopefully Chris Hubbard back this weekend. But outside of that, I mean, let's just keep playing through it. And I feel like this is a game that we need to win here on the road. It's going to be a good statement victory if we could pull it off.
Absolutely. And not getting too much into the Vikings injury report, because they have just a bunch of lists of people who did not practice for personal matters or resting a veteran. The biggest note is that Dalvin Cook, who missed last week, was limited at practice. So like I said earlier, I believe he's going to play, which is a huge, negative for us, a positive for them. But, we do want to try to, I think Jeff said it in week 1, there was a scenario that one of the Chiefs' main players was going to be out, but he alluded to that, the fact that I'd rather be a team at full strength than, not do that. So I'm kind of on that page where I would like to win this game, make a statement win, like Jeff said. But let's get more into, and I'll make my quick point about Chris Hubbard. Having Chris Hubbard come back would be a huge bump, because I think Wills needs to take a game off, just because I think he struggled. Obviously, he didn't stay in the entirety of the last game. So to have Hubbard come back would be a huge bump. But moving on from that point, Jeff, let's talk about some, keys to this game and what we think needs to happen in order for the Browns to pull out a win against the Vikings here.
Okay, so keys, which in our predictions, I had a key player to watch every week. So I think that I've done a pretty decent job so far, believe it or not, with some luck involved. But this week, I'm going to keep it going right on par. I like how the Google Drive says when this was last edited, because at the top it says last edited September 10th. And I have Jadeveon Clowney being a huge part of the defense. Once again, a huge part last week, which was great. Awesome to see. I like how people point out how he, chases, plays down, how he doesn't give up on plays. And that's been a good thing to see so far. Looks like that he's in pretty good standing with his health. But with Dalvin Cook coming back, and even with Alexander Madison coming off their bench, even if they split carries, that's going to be a good running attack for them. If Jadeveon Clowney and, even Myles Garrett in our interior defensive line could really put the hat on these running backs and make Kirk Cousins basically, if we could get Kirk Cousins into downs where we know he's going to throw, your 3rd and longs, your 2nd and 15s off of penalties, whatever it may be. I think that gives us the best chance to win, especially being down Greg Newsome and hopefully Joe Woods coming off a big time, play calling victory against the Chicago Bears, having a whole lot of confidence. If we could make Joe Woods' job as easy as possible, with our run stopping ability, I think that's probably one of the bigger keys to winning this Sunday.
Absolutely. And I have my 3 keys to the game, but I think I might audible a little bit out of what I have. Right now I have blitz the run lanes early to fill gaps just because Dalvin Cook is such a monster. And, I compare this game to our Titans game last year because I believe, we took Derrick Henry out of the game early and forced, the Titans to throw the ball a lot. And I think obviously last year we had DB problems and such. So we weren't really, equipped to hold a lead like we did like we can now. So I think that goes along with my point of, let Baker sling early in terms of making, the lead something to the point of a Titans lead where we're up, they have to throw, and we let Joe Woods implement the DB heavy defense that we have. Ronnie Harrison, me and Jeff talked about it. Ronnie Harrison being able to play that linebacker safety hybrid role was phenomenal to see last week. You got Joke, who's, played so well, Jeff alluded to earlier. And then, John Johnson III, Grant Delpit, Denzel Ward, Greedy Williams, Troy Hill. There's just a ton of guys that, even though they have great wide receivers and such, we could still cover all of them and we can still produce a lot of turnovers if we get them into those long and distance plays. So what else are you thinking here, Jeff?
Thinking it's a close one. I'm thinking specifically on the score. I actually still kind of like my score. Browns 27, Vikings 24. I would not be opposed to a Chase McLaughlin time expiring field goal. I really wouldn't be. I thought that he was one of the more underrated parts of our Chicago Bears victory, believe it or not, overshadowed by everything else, Kareem Hunt, the defense, but he played great. He had a 57-yarder and everyone else was, trying from 60 plus. So it kind of got overshadowed, but yeah. I think we win here. I think Kevin Stefanski homecoming. I think we get the job done, believe it or not.
Revenge game, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly.
I have it very similar, and I'm just going to keep it to what I have in the doc. I have Browns 30, Vikings 24. I think, hopefully from what I've gathered from what the Vikings have done defensively, we should be able to control TOP, and I think we should be able to let it fly a little bit early on in the game. So I'm thinking we win by 6, maybe, I don't know, 31-24. We win by 7, win by a touchdown, extra point. But with that all being said, Jeff, you got anything else before we call this one a quits?
I think this is a game you really love to win because a lot of people who, let's just say Bengals fans, let's say other teams of the AFC North, they're fans. You just look at the box score. Maybe you watch the game, maybe you'll just look at the box score. But if we beat this team, even if it's close, it's going to be like, oh, the Browns, because Minnesota will go to 1-3 if we win. So it's like, oh, the Browns just, the Minnesota might not be that good. The Bengals beat them. Winning this game on the road at the Minnesota Vikings is going to be a quality win. And I feel like if you've been following Minnesota, if you've seen the numbers they're putting up, their wide receiver, numbers, how well Kirk Cousins is playing, especially being at home, I think it's going to be a quality win. So this is a game that you got to pick up here on the road.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Well, with that all being said, thank you all for watching. If you guys haven't already, please subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a like on the video, and let us know what you guys think in the comments of what's going to happen in this game, what your guys' score predictions are, who might be the key players, what might be the keys to the game. And we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.